Small starts, big purpose, decoding God's master strategic plan. Our anchor Bible verse, Zechariah 4 verse 10 says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." A real talk about feeling stuck, and why you're actually not. Let me just say this up front, I know you're tired. Not the, I need a nap kind of tired. The deep, soul-level exhaustion that comes from giving everything you have to something that still looks like nothing. You've been showing up. Doing the right things. Trying to be faithful. And yet, when you look around, nothing seems to have changed. Maybe you're in a job that feels like a dead end. A bank account that's embarrassing to look at. A dream you've been nursing for years that still hasn't taken a single breath. A relationship that's hanging by a thread. A body that won't cooperate. And somewhere along the way, you started wondering if you missed God. If you're doing something wrong. If maybe your small beginning is just a small ending. I get it. I've been there. Sitting in the dark, wondering if the whispers I heard from God were real or just wishful thinking. So let me tell you what I wish someone had told me back then. You're not stuck. You're being planted. Here's the thing we don't talk about enough. Almost every single person in the Bible who did something great went through a long, invisible, painful season first. Take Joseph. Please, take a minute to really think about him. He was a teenager with a dream. He saw the stars bowing to him. And then? His own brothers threw him in a pit. Sold him like livestock. He ended up as a servant in a foreign country. Then got falsely accused by his boss's wife. Spent years in a prison cell for a crime he didn't commit. If you were Joseph in year 8 of that prison sentence, what would you have thought? God forgot me. The dream is dead. I must have done something wrong. But here's the part we rush past, that prison wasn't a detour. It was the only road to the throne. Because in that prison, Joseph learned how to lead without a title. How to serve without applause. How to trust when nothing made sense. Your prison, whatever that looks like for you, might just be your preparation. Stop calling it a delay. Call it a foundation. We live in a world of microwaves and 2-day shipping. We want the promotion, the marriage, the breakthrough, the audience. And we want it now. So when God takes years instead of weeks, we panic. But here's what I've learned. Usually the hard way, God is way more interested in your character than your comfort. And character isn't built in boardrooms or on stages. It's built in the dark, in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the frustrating. Think about building a house. The most important part isn't the paint color or the light fixtures. It's the foundation. And foundations are ugly. They're underground. No one throws a party for a foundation. But without a solid one, the whole thing collapses. Your small beginning is your foundation. It's not glamorous. No one is clapping for you right now. But that doesn't mean nothing is happening. In fact, the most important things are happening when no one is watching. That thing you despise? God might be using it. Let me get personal for a second. I used to hate my quiet seasons. I'd look at other people getting opportunities, getting noticed, getting there wherever there was, and I'd feel this sick mix of envy and shame. Why not me? What's wrong with me? But looking back now, I see it differently. Those quiet, lonely years were the ones where I actually grew up. Where I stopped performing for people and started being real with God. Where I learned to pray not because I had to, but because I was desperate. I'm not saying it was fun. It wasn't. There were nights I cried on my bathroom floor. Days I wanted to quit everything. Moments I felt completely invisible. But here's the truth I held on to: if God is doing something, even if I can't see it, it's not wasted. That widow in the Bible with the little jar of oil? 2 Kings 4, she was down to nothing. Debt was crushing her. She was about to lose her sons. And all she had was a tiny bit of oil. Embarrassing, right? But that tiny bit of oil, in God's hands, became an endless supply. She didn't get more by complaining about the smallness. She got more by pouring out the little she had. You don't have to have much. You just have to be willing to pour out what you've got. Even if it feels pathetic. Even if it's just your tired faith, your worn-out hope, your shaky obedience. Your frustration might be fertilizer. Here's a weird thought. What if your biggest frustration is actually a seed? I know, that sounds like a cliché. But stay with me. When a seed goes into the ground, it doesn't feel good. It gets broken open. It gets covered in dirt. It sits in the dark, under pressure, for a long time. From the outside, it looks like it's dying. But inside, life is building. Your frustration, the thing that keeps you up at night, the ache that won't go away, might be the very thing God is using to crack you open so something new can grow. Not because God is cruel. But because you can't stay the way you are and hold what He's about to give you. The pressure isn't punishment. It's preparation. What if this is actually a shortcut? This might sound crazy, but hear me out. The Israelites at the Red Sea thought they were trapped. Mountains on one side, water in front, army behind. They said, God brought us out here to die. But God wasn't being mean. He was being strategic. Because that impossible situation wasn't just about getting them out of Egypt. It was about drowning Egypt in the same waters that saved them. Sometimes the hardest, scariest, smallest beginning is actually God's shortcut. He's not taking you the long way to punish you. He's taking you the way that kills your enemies and your old identity at the same time. Your Red Sea might be the very thing that sets you free and silences the voices that have haunted you for years. So what do you actually do tomorrow? I can give you Bible verses all day. But you need to know what to do when you wake up and the mountain is still there. Here's what helped me. Maybe it'll help you. 1. Stop lying to yourself about what's happening. Don't call it a failure if it's actually a foundation. Don't call it a prison if it's actually a classroom. The words you use matter. They shape how you feel. Start calling it what God calls it, preparation. 2. Do the small thing in front of you really, really well. You don't need a big stage. You just need to be faithful with today. Wash the dishes like you're doing it for Jesus. Send that email with excellence. Show up for that person who needs you. The big doors open after you walk through the small ones. 3. Stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. That person you're jealous of? You have no idea what their small beginning looked like. You have no idea how long they sat in the dark. Your timeline is yours. Don't trade your unique story for a copy of someone else's highlight reel. 4. Find one person who believes in you. You weren't meant to do this alone. Find a friend, a mentor, a small group, someone who can look at you and say, I see it. Don't quit. And then believe them when you can't believe yourself. 5. Remember that God isn't in a hurry. This is hard for us control freak, planner types. But God is not late. Ever. He's not sitting in heaven worrying about your timeline. He's working while you're sleeping. He's weaving while you're weeping. The same God who took 400 years to answer Israel's prayers is the same God who raised Jesus in 3 days. He knows what He's doing. A little hope to hold on to. I don't know your situation. I don't know how long you've been waiting or how much it hurts. But I know this, small beginnings are not bad beginnings. They're just beginnings. The Wright brothers' first flight lasted 12 seconds. 12 seconds. That's embarrassing. But without those 12 seconds, you don't get to the moon. Your 12 seconds are coming. It might look small. The world might yawn. But God? He's rejoicing. Not because He's cruel and likes watching you struggle. But because He sees the whole story. He sees the cathedral in the pile of bricks. He hears the symphony in the single, shaky note. And one day, maybe sooner than you think, you'll look back at this season and realize it wasn't the waiting room. It was the workshop. A simple prayer, if you need it. God, I'm tired. I don't understand why this is taking so long. I don't understand why it's so hard. But I'm choosing to believe that you see what I can't. Help me not to despise this small beginning. Help me to be faithful with today. And when I can't see your hand, help me to trust your heart. Amen. Now, take a breath. Make a cup of tea. Go for a walk. And don't give up 5 minutes before your miracle shows up. Your beginning is small. But your God is not. And that changes everything. If this words has blessed you, please subscribe and follow for more. God bless you.